with a legend stepping away from the business and more. This is Wrestling Hub. My name is John, and you're watching the Wrestling Report. Before we get into the rest of the video, make sure you subscribe to Wrestling Hub and turn on all notifications to stay up to date with everything in the world of pro wrestling. Also, don't forget to follow us on Instagram at Wrestling Hub Official and follow us on Twitter at Wrestling_Hub. With Tommy Dreamer previously saying that Raven is dealing with several health problems, the star has now responded to these claims, telling PW Mania, "My health is fine. Honestly, I think what the problem was is in his interview, Tommy lives in a work-shoot world. It's a half work, half shoot to him. And in his mind, Raven and Dreamer really went to summer camp together and fought over Beulah. And he was triumphing because he married her, I guess. I think what he meant to come across and say is that I can't wrestle because I just had my knees replaced and I'm gonna have my shoulder replaced this year, so I can't wrestle now. And it'd be at least a year of recovery for my shoulder replacement." And then he added the working part where he's like, I don't know if I gave him a, caused damage in the chair shot, heard around the world, so half shooting, half working. But if that one chair shot was what gave me brain damage, I mean, if I had brain damage, I'm sure I have some damage. Obviously, I think all wrestlers do from all the chair shots and head and drugs we take, but to make it seem like that I have brain damage, like excessive brain damage where it's affecting my life, which it doesn't, and obviously you can see I'm clear-headed. And he started talking about boxers. Now boxers, when they start out there, you can't watch boxing movies because their videos, because they start out clear speaking, but then they start slurring their words at the end of their career. Somehow all of that got boxed in together, and it came across like that's what was happening to me. And I know he didn't mean it that way. He was just trying to capitalize on, on the storyline that he's telling for Impact, where he's trying to forsake hardcoreness to an extent or something. I'm not sure exactly. I haven't followed it. But I was gonna have him rebut it, and just retract it. But then I figured he wouldn't be able to explain it as clearly because he doesn't know my life like I know my life. You know what I mean? Yeah, I'm in good health. I'm just suffering injuries from my career. The shoulder replacement I probably needed for 10-15 years. I haven't had a lot of big injuries, but I've had a couple. I herniated 3 discs in my lower back. I had my left shoulder replaced in 2013, and it was so painful that I said that I'm not getting the right one, either replacing 2, but I'm not getting that until I absolutely have to, and now I absolutely have to. Then I got to 2 knees replaced last year, and then I should be a perfectly healthy young man and or old young man. I still feel like I'm 28 inside. I'm 58, but I feel 28, and I probably have the organs of a 78-year-old. Giving details on the recent passing of Bushwhacker Butch, it was said on Wrestling Observer Radio that what happened was when he flew over from New Zealand, which is a long flight, he forgot to pack one of his water pills to keep his blood pressure down. By the time he got in, it had been 4 days since he took his pills because of the length of the trip and everything like that, and essentially that is what ended up killing him. His blood pressure went sky high. He was rushed to the hospital and he never recovered. Touching on the recent return of Jeff Hardy to AEW, Jim Cornette said this on The Experience. "Jeff Hardy's music plays and instantly the place blows. They go crazy, they hit their feet, they're standing up, and he hits the ring. And it doesn't look necessarily pretty, and they don't care. He beats up the heels, he hits a swanton, and he hugs Matt Hardy, and the place is going berserk. And I can't believe that not only has Tony messed this up again, but in exactly the same way as he messed it up the first time. He has reunited the Hardys against people that nobody gives 2 dogs about. And to be honest, I don't even think they particularly cared or were caring that he reunited the Hardys. I think they were happy Jeff Hardy was back, and he could have hugged Matt, or he could have hugged Bozo the Clown or Randy Atcher. It wouldn't have made any difference." When it comes to a return to in-ring action for the baddest woman on the planet, Dave Meltzer pointed out on Wrestling Observer Radio that Ronda Rousey is still not cleared, so they can't do the Ronda Rousey and Shayna Baszler thing, which was the plan. When asked on Twitter if he is addicted to marijuana, Rob Van Dam responded, "Of course not. It'd be too hard to travel if I had to have it. I just love it. I go days without fairly often and may or may not even miss it. I'm sure a lot of others have themselves convinced they're hooked when they're in fact not. Helpless is always easier than working." He added, "I smoke about an ounce a week when I'm home. I've always been able to stop anything, weed, alcohol, pills, caffeine, etc. with zero withdrawal, and if someone can't understand because they themselves are different, they miss the point. Perhaps all sheep are identical." RVD would also say this in responding to the idea of having one final run in pro wrestling. "The names of the companies isn't enough to go on, but I feel even better than I look. If you don't see me popping up somewhere, someone's got some splaining to do. Of course, my continuance of posting unpopular opinions might be a factor." With Jordynne Grace apparently a free agent following Impact's Rebellion event, this was said about her current status by Fightful. WWE was securing long-term deals. Grace approached Impact with this information and was able to secure a raise over the originally agreed terms. It was also noted that Jordynne Grace doesn't need the money. After all, Grace has become a millionaire outside of pro wrestling via her exclusive content site. Still, there is no insight on how or if that will weigh into an eventual decision. At this time, Impact Wrestling would have ideally liked to retain the 27-year-old star. Speaking about what could be next for the Bloodline, Dave Meltzer said on Wrestling Observer Radio, "Who can he wrestle against? They can turn Solo Sikoa. They can have him do Cody Rhodes one more time. They could have him do Sami Zayn, but everyone knows that Sami Zayn isn't going to win. Drew McIntyre, which in the case of Roman Reigns, is someone that he's already beaten." Also on Wrestling Observer Radio, this was said about Mercedes Mone potentially signing another deal with New Japan Pro Wrestling. They are in negotiations for one more match. Her final match of her current contract is the match this coming Sunday at the Yokohama Arena against Mayu for the IWGP Women's title. I do not know if the deal is done. It was not done the last I was told, but she is in talks for one more date. I don't know what that date would be. I don't know if it would be Dominion or what exactly. That's where her situation is right now. With him now a free agent in pro wrestling, Goldberg recalled a deal he made in WWE to have one final bout, telling 93.7 The Ticket, "Vince McMahon and I had a handshake understanding that, after the Roman Reigns match, I would have a proper retirement match. And that hasn't come to fruition through them. So, therefore, nobody puts a stamp on my career. Nobody tells me when I'm done, period. When somebody tells me that, I kind of like to fight against it. I like to do things my own way, and I go out my own way. And I certainly don't go out, under Roman Reigns, 3 weeks after I've had COVID and agreed to a match. If I go on a world tour and promote it myself, that's a possibility. Hey, I'm a businessman, and I'm fortunately, in the position I firmly believe to where I can still make it happen. At the end of the day, like I said, I do believe that my character deserves a proper send-off. Until that happens, man, I don't believe I'm hanging them up, Anything and everything is an option. I'm very much leaning towards promoting it myself and doing a 4-city world tour." As Drew McIntyre's WWE contract is coming up soon, it seems another star is going to be negotiating a new deal, with it said that Becky Lynch has the wrestling world buzzing after tweeting that she wouldn't be at the April 17th Raw, but she might be in store for some big-time money sooner than later. With Lynch dropping her verification badge and changing her display name to her real name, Rebecca Quinn, many inquiries were made to Fightful about her current status with WWE. We're told that Lynch signed a brand new deal upon returning to the company in 2021. And her time off from maternity leave is not a factor. Lynch signed a 3-year deal that currently expires in June 2024. Thus far, WWE sources tell us the two have not entered negotiations for a new deal. There are several deals that are up in 2024, as WWE had signed much of the roster to 4-year contracts then. At the time, WWE was signing and extending talent way before their expiration. Speaking of Becky Lynch, she recently missed Raw, as this was noted by Fightful regarding her absence. Becky Lynch, one of the top stars in pro wrestling and a WrestleMania main eventer, legitimately is not set to be at the April 17th episode of Raw. When we inquired within WWE, we were told that she was originally scheduled to be at Raw as of last Monday, but WWE sources had indicated that there are no issues to their knowledge between Becky Lynch and WWE. She's been dealing with a minor foot injury, which has been exacerbated recently. Following his win at Impact Rebellion in a hardcore war match, Tommy Dreamer noted that he is going to be taking a break from pro wrestling. I've known Frankie Kazarian since the original ECW. He was just starting training. He came up with Killer Kowalski and he got in the ring, and years later we joke about it where he was like, "This was the greatest experience and the scariest experience in my life." Tonight was a pure example of what I love about professional wrestling. It's an escape. It's an escape for me. There's no other place I wanted to be than the middle of that ring tonight. I've received so much love from the professional wrestling community. I just gotta say thank you. I'm gonna go away for a while. Mentally, I'm not here, and I gotta get better. Somebody else needs my love. Yuya, Bhupinder, Killer Kelly, Frankie, I wish the world always sees through my eyes. When I walk out there, I see a whole mass of people from different countries, races, creeds, all showing their love for one thing, and that's professional wrestling. It's a beautiful world that I've lived in, and it's gonna be the hardest one that I have to leave. But again, for tonight, I just want to say thank you for everything you've ever done for me. I have literally wrestled in front of billions of people. Thank you for today. Thank you for everything. I love you guys. And this was your pro wrestling news update. I hope you're all having a great day. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see y'all later.